my 38 female sister, 34 female, made up a dead brother to her spouse, 35 male, and in-laws, 60s male and female. I accidentally outed the lie, but why am I the bad guy here? Originally posted April 11th, 2025. Usually a lurker, but something happened tonight that has made me incredibly confused. Apologies in advance for the length. Backstory. I'm the eldest of 4 sisters. We are stair-stepped, 2 years apart. I'm Meg, 38, Joe is 36, Beth is 34, and Amy is 32. Our parents used to joke about how they kept trying for a boy, but finally gave up after girl number 4. Not gonna lie, it hurt our feelings a little, especially Amy, but they stopped that and assured us they wouldn't change anything. Every one of us has at least one daughter. I'm the only sister that has a son. At 17, he's the eldest grandchild, and I'm fairly certain he's my dad's favorite person in the world. They're best friends. It's adorable. Okay, now that you have the backstory of the fam, let's talk about tonight. My son, who is very intelligent and absolutely crushed high school, recently received his acceptance letter to a pretty prestigious university. Full ride. We are incredibly proud. My folks wanted to throw him a little congratulatory party, and tonight worked for all of our schedules, which is no small feat. 4 different families with 11 kids between them, so we all headed to the folks' house for pizza and cake. At one point, Amy brought up that it is Sibling Appreciation Day. Mom said she wanted all of her girls to say what we appreciate about our sisters, and we go youngest to eldest, with most of the compliments going to me, as I was kind of a second mom to them. I told each of my sisters how much I loved them, among other things, and then finished my speech off saying something like, "And I really appreciate that we didn't have any gross boys stinking up our house." All of us but Beth and her husband laugh. Beth's eyes got really big, and her husband Chase looked at me like I was something he scraped off the bottom of his shoe. Suddenly, he says, "That's pretty up." And I said something like, "I don't know, Chase, I've smelled you after your workouts. It's pretty bad." And he got even more mad and said, "How could you talk about Tyler like that?" And Beth starts losing her mind, guys. She's grabbing him by the arm and begging him to hush, saying they need to go home now, etc. So naturally, I'm like, who's Tyler? Well, friends, apparently, Tyler is Beth's twin that died during childbirth, and it made our folks and me so depressed that nobody's allowed to speak of him or reference him ever. Beth forbade him from ever mentioning to any family member. After Chase told us this, nobody said a word. It was so damn tense. Finally, I just kind of bluntly said, I'm not sure why, but Beth lied to you about this. I think you guys should talk about it, but I don't want to hear anything else about this tonight, as we're here to celebrate my son. After that, Beth just burst into tears and ran into her old bedroom with Chase, Mom, and Joe following her. The party never fully recovered, and they took off pretty shortly after that. I stayed behind to help clean, and so my dad and son could hang out some more. While I'm doing the dishes, my mom scolded me pretty harshly about calling Beth a liar. "If the baby shoe fits, mother." My dad said I wasn't wrong, but I embarrassed Beth. What the hell was I supposed to do? I was getting chastised over a lie. Absolutely not. Beth also texted me that I f***ed her over, and a text from Chase's phone told me I was the actual liar sister, and everyone knows that. Amy is on my side, but she and Beth always butted heads. Joe claims she's neutral, but also told me I didn't have to call her out like that. What the hell else was I supposed to do? Just take the lashing? And why is everyone acting like calling me out, what I consider to be a pretty heavy lie, is worse than the lie itself? How do we resolve this situation? I love my sisters so damn much. They are my best friends, but this is so weird and so wrong to put on me. Relevant comments. Commenter 1, I can't imagine any other response. I really can't. Were you seriously expected to lie along with her? I think that's shocking. OP says, I have no idea what she was expecting. I have lied for her before, but saying she's at my house while she's really getting boudoir photos done for him is not the same as lying about a whole person who never existed. It's beyond bizarre. Commenter 2, I'm kind of impressed that after all of that, she managed to convince her husband that you were the liar. Of course, he still believes her. He's dumb as a brick. I think there is proof enough on her birth certificate, as it will state that she was a single birth. OP says, I will say Chase is not a dummy, and he's typically not malicious. And although nobody really backed me up about this being a lie, at least not in front of me, I think it's pretty obvious that I was telling the truth, as everyone else was obviously confused and dead silent in that moment. I have not responded to the text, and I'm not looking to burn bridges. I've made many mistakes, and my sisters have graciously forgiven me. I'm just flummoxed and a little hurt. Before we dive into the update, which is next day, we need to talk about this for a second. Tater, where did you find this shit?
On Reddit.
This is not the first I've heard about people like making up deceased siblings. I just don't understand.
This is the first time I've heard of this.
Really?
Yeah. I've never heard of making up siblings to, like, I'm assuming to like garner sympathy from someone, to like have this thing in your life that defines you as a person. Like that makes you, I don't know.
I've always entertained the idea of like, if we won the lottery, it would be fun to like pack us all up and once a year move to a different town and assume different identities, like all of us. Like we show up and we're like under witness protection, and we're like
we're vampires,
mobster family, and then we're vampires. Like that, just because it would be fun, and we could, just because we could.
We're the Cullens.
I don't understand. Like, some people think they only have worth if people feel sorry for them. That's obviously, where this is rooted from. But how could you create this lie, make it like a big part of your identity to someone that you then marry and spend your life with?
It's
and
a decade long.
Commit to that lie. It's. Has anybody encountered anything like this in person?
I think if you're willing to tell a lie of this extent, lying must come pretty naturally to you, because in order to keep this lie going, many more lies have to be told.
Yes.
And then you create the web of lies. And at some point, like the truth will always come out. It literally always does. And at some point, it's going to collapse on you, and you're going to be this, running to your old childhood bedroom with random people chasing you. And
why do I picture the Glinda like?
Yeah, exactly.
On the bed, too.
She's very dramatic.
Okay, here is the update next day. Okay, I think we have some answers re the events that occurred last night. I do want to tell everyone who took time to give advice or kind words, thank you. I honestly couldn't read everything. I was and am exhausted, but I did get an idea of how I wanted to approach everything thanks to the advice given. My post says it was removed. I'm unsure why, so hopefully this one will stay. I bet it was your brother. I'll get to the update in a few. I just wanted to answer some FAQ comments real quick. 1, this is fake. I wish it was. I really wish my mind worked in a way where I could imagine things like this. Also, my imagination is lacking. 2, your parents named you after Little Women? This is probably partially to blame for the fake comments. Those are just placeholder names I used, as there are 4 sisters in that novel. My parents are hippies and gave us some pretty noticeable names. If I used our real ones on the off chance any of our friends read this, they would know immediately this was our family. Who read this Reddit story and was like, those are your real names?
Right? Who thinks?
3, Beth is continuing to lie and Chase is believing it, and your mom and Joe threw you under the bus too. Chase, I think he knew I was being truthful. Also, I said the text came from his phone. I think it was actually Beth sending it, as that's not Chase's vibe. About mom and Joe, they didn't throw me under the bus, but I'll go into more detail soon. 4, is it possible my mom had twins and I just forgot or didn't know about the death? Absolutely not. I was at all of my sister's births. I don't remember Joe's, but I do remember Beth and Amy's, and there were no multiples, no deaths, no funerals, no depression. 5, the birth certificate will prove it. It sure would, yes, but I'm not about to try to strong-arm my sister into showing her husband her birth certificate. 6, your sister is mentally ill, also the gold child, and you're the scapegoat. I'm not about to say my sister is sick, but I do think she has some issues, as we all do. There's no golden child and scapegoat in this family. My parents were and are really good about treating all of us fairly and equally. Unless it comes to clarifying that you didn't lie and that Beth did. 7, you could have or should have been more tactful or pulled her aside, not called her a liar. Had I known that Tyler was my dead brother, I never would have asked who he was. Chase and I tease each other a lot, and I honestly thought he was about to come out with some kind of funny joke a la D's nuts. My lack of tact? I don't know. I think it's pretty lacking in tact to make up a whole dead sibling, and really facts are facts. She lied, and that's that. That night was about my son, so I squashed the issue and chose to move forward, hoping to end the conversation with as little drama as possible. Okay, so now on to the update. After a night of barely sleeping and my blood pressure dangerously high, I called my mom this morning fully ready to let out an emotional charged tirade about how I feel they unfairly threw me under the bus and took Beth's side when she objectively did the worst thing. My mom answered the phone apologizing and asked me to just listen. When she and Joe followed Beth and Chase to Beth's room, Mom did tell Chase that Tyler was not real, and this is an issue between her and Chase. They should probably leave because she didn't want the evening ruined. She did get on to me, but it was mostly out of sympathy and empathy for Beth, and she recognized it wasn't okay. She apologized for that. She spoke with Chase this morning, and Beth, who is the one who sent me the text from Chase's phone, finally came clean early this morning after hours of denying the lie. Something I didn't mention, as I didn't feel it was pertinent to the story, is Beth's eldest daughter, Madison, isn't Chase's biological daughter. He's been around since Madison was 2. Also kind of pertinent is that Chase is a first responder. He loves to be a hero, and he's very good in that role. He met Beth doing victims advocacy, and as such, I believe they both view him as saving Beth. This has long been speculated, but it's not exactly our place to say anything, and we all love Chase. He's an amazing person. And Beth is no dummy. She picked up on Chase's hero complex immediately. It appears that, in an effort to make herself look more sympathetic, vulnerable, broken, she lied about having a twin brother that died in childbirth. I guess being in an abusive relationship and having a small child just wasn't enough. She did not have to do that. They've been together for 10 years now, and not once did she come clean. To me, that proves a clear pattern of deceit and manipulation. However, I'm not going to speculate on her mental health problems or reasonings for not coming clean. That is for her and her husband to deal with. Neither one of them have called or texted me to apologize, and I'm honestly unsure if they will. Beth is more of the rug-sweeping type, while I'm a confident issues head-on type. I will not be cutting my sister off for this, though. I love her, and at the end of the day, I just want her to be happy and healthy. I do hope that this whole issue will cause her to rethink some of her life choices, and maybe she can get some therapy. I think we could all use therapy, to be honest. That's where we are right now. My mom did not offer any information about how Beth and Chase are doing, and I did not ask. It's not my business. I have not heard from Joe, but Amy and I have been texting all morning, and she is being my best good friend right now and providing a lot of support. Hopefully we can all move forward and grow together in the future. Thanks again for the support you all have sent my way. Top comments. Commenter 1, I'm glad your mother apologized, but your sister really owes you and the entire family an apologies. This was a really selfish and weird thing to do. She also owes Chase and his family an apology. I hope she gets some help for this. Good luck. Commenter 2, I think your family needs to sit down with your sister because this isn't normal behavior at all. She lied for 10 years about a dead brother. Y'all need to call this behavior out since she's way too old to be acting like this. And doing nothing is showing her that you guys will accept similar or the same type of behavior in the future. Commenter 4. Well, this is why she continues to do this nonsense at her big ass age. No one holds her accountable. You can't move forward and grow together if people don't take accountability. Your entire family enables her in the worst way. There is a new update 5 months later. Before we get into that,
I do think they're right that this behavior, like she isn't being called out and she definitely isn't taking accountability because she blamed the oldest sister, OP, for her over. Not, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have lied and put you in that spot and this is where we ended up. It is, my walls are coming crashing down and I need someone to blame and that someone is you.
It's typical getting exposed behavior though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's,
for sure.
Exactly 100%. How we would expect her to react. New update, final update, September 21st, 2025, 5 months later, also a week ago. Trigger warning, death of a loved one, grief, depression, divorce. Well, a lot has happened in the past months. I read all of your comments multiple times, and I heard you. I faced some very hard truths about my family and our dynamics, but mostly I grieved. About a month after I made my original post, my dad passed away. It was very unexpected, massive stroke. The worst part was my mom was out of town, so my dad died alone. My son talked to him that same day. They made plans for the next week, and then my dad was gone. It's been a very hard few months. I started therapy mostly to deal with navigating life without dad, but my therapist made a lot of good points about our family dynamic. Mostly that I was parentified and a people pleaser. That keeping the peace comes at a price. And that price was my needs being put on the back burner. And as a result, I keep people at an arm's length because of this, and I'll be damned if she wasn't right. So let's rewind a little. During the week or so after dad died, mom was lost. They'd been married over 40 years, so no surprise there. And as the eldest sibling, I stepped up big time. Joe and I already knew a little about our parents' end-of-life wishes, and we chose to go forward with cremation. Mom agreed. This is her wish as well. As did Amy. Guess who didn't? If you guessed Beth, you'd be right. She just had a complete meltdown, wailing over how she couldn't stand the thought and will not allow it, and blah, blah, blah. This is probably the first instance of my shutting her ass down. I told her in no uncertain terms that this was not her choice. It was our father's preference, and it was happening regardless. Next, she was wandering through the house trying to pick out shit she wanted before mom had even given us her blessing. When she started, mom asked her to please stop, let her sort some stuff out first, and then she'll give us a yes or no. When Beth asked what she needed to sort out, mom mentioned dad's watch collection. There was one specifically for my son, and when Beth inquired as to which one, mom refused to answer. Beth insisted that wasn't fair, she should have first pick, blah, blah, blah. Mom and Joe apparently shut that shit down with a quickness. I wasn't there, but my son is now wearing the first luxury watch my dad ever bought, and he is so proud. Don't worry though, all the grands have something special. Next, she got absolutely plastered at his end-of-life ceremony, went around wailing and making literally the whole thing about her grief and how her wishes weren't respected, and before I could snap, and believe me, I was this close, Chase dragged her ass out of the venue, and I'm not sure what happened. But when they got home, police were called. Beth was arrested, and my niece ended up with my mom for the night. My brother-in-law did have some bruises to back him up. Despite Beth calling us, nobody bailed her ass out. We are just done with it. She did get released on her own recognizance and only ended up with some community service and a fine. Chase was more than willing to do therapy with her, but she started drinking even more, and as a result is being more aggressive with both him and the kids. Shit. There was another situation, and a long story short, Chase is divorcing her and petitioning for full custody. He has asked us to write letters on his behalf, and I believe all of us are going to do so. I don't know what is going on with my sister, but she is on a downward spiral, and it's so sad to see. She refuses to speak with anyone, and I'm just done trying. I've already decided to cut her off after the bullshit at Dad's end of life ceremony, but this solidified it. I won't be updating again. I'm washing my hands of all this. I hope my sister gets help, but it'll take a lot of work, and she's never been the one to want to put in the work. I'm putting myself first for once and concentrating on my children, my husband, and myself. Thanks for listening to me vent. Y'all are almost as good as therapy. Well, hot damn.
This is, I think, like what you had said, sister's world view came crashing down. Everything, this entire fake reality that she had built up. But I also get narcissistic vibes from sister.
From lying Beth?
Yes. From the lying, like the going through the house right after her father passed away and trying to take things and making the entire memorial about herself. Like all of these things give me the vibe where she has just, like, she's got some issues that she needs. The non-accountability, I think, is the biggest one for me. Like the inability to see when you've hurt people, when you've done wrong, and still twisting it to make yourself the victim. Like there's so many different complexes going on that she really, like, I don't think this downward spiral is done. Like this is just...
Well, remember, her worldview was broken and then her dad died. So like her worldview further breaks. And instead of what I would hope a parent of children would do, and that would be to look around and be like, I can't do this on my own. Like I need help, and get therapy, but also like lean on family members to help get through this. She did spiral and made everything about her, but making everything about her was just is just a default response. Like her father's death, what she was mourning was not her father's presence. It was not like who he was as a man. She was mourning the portion of her life that he was, right? So she was, even when she was walking through the house, when she was talking about she couldn't stand the thought of him being cremated, it was about her and what she wanted.
100%.
Never once thought about what he would want as a human being, or what his wishes would be. It is absolutely, that's who she is as a person. It is, the saddest part about this is that she has kids.
And that she was...
Beyond the one that she had whenever she and Chase got together. She got 3.
And she treated, I mean, obviously there is no excuse for abuse. And when you're aiming that abuse at your husband, and like OP said in the story, it's only a matter of time before that falls to her kids. And so she doesn't deserve to have custody. And it's crazy when you watch this, like back, when you're watching this from above and you're seeing this play out like we are here in this story. It's like you can see what this woman is doing, that you see that she's on like one lane crash, like everything. It's all coming down. And it's like you can see it. And if she would just stop and say, I f***ed up, like I did all of this wrong and I can't do this, like people would help her. This family would jump in and help her because that's the type of family that they are. But admitting that you're wrong is utterly hard for some people.
Yeah.